What is going on, YouTube? Welcome back to A Therapeutic Edge. Today on the table in front of us is the CH Knives 3507. Now, I've had this knife actually for quite some time, and I found myself going through my older knife collection and realized that it hadn't seen the light of day in a while, and that happens. It is TC4 titanium, it is M390 blade steel, it is a beautiful, just beautiful tanto cut, cut out on the blade. It's a great knife. Somehow, though, in all of the new knives and bigger knives and blah, 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 that happens when you're a knife collector, well, this thing ended up kind of on the back burner. And recently, as my CH knives collection has started to expand again, I dug it out, and I cannot for the life of me understand why I ever let it get out of the rotation in the first place. This is a spectacular knife. Before we measure it out, let's give it a size comparison. Here, of course, is our old friend, the Rat Model 1. As you can see, they are virtually the same length, but you get considerably more cutting edge with the 3507. It is very, very light. It is essentially open construction with this little tiny backspacer back here, a little bit of jimping on it that supports the tail end of the handles up to the front. There are no other barrel spacers or anything. It's just a pivot. These are milled on the inside. This thing weighs, well, virtually nothing. The action is its real party piece. It snaps open and drops closed. Now, Love Them Knives has done a review on this a long time ago. He had one. He's also tested the M390, and it does come back a little soft. The HRC is not quite where it should be. It's not super low. It is, in fact, competitive and comparative with a lot of M390 that's out there. It's not bottom end of the scale, but it's not over 60, which is, I think, what they're usually now asking for. And I got to tell you, I don't care at all. I don't hard use my knives with the exception of a few knives built for hard use. And beyond that, these are a combination of pocket jewelry and daily user tool for me. And so this opens packages, it may cut food, it's cut rope and string, cardboard, nothing that is going to push even moderately well done M390 to its outside edges of its capacities or capabilities. In fact, I don't think I've ever sharpened this, and it is very, very sharp still. It's finger slicey sharp. It is very narrow through the handle. It is considerably less than a ½ inch, actually. It is, as I said, very light. It is fun to carry because of that. It is a nice, long blade. I really love the dimensions of this knife. Let's take a look, see what we're looking at here. We have 1, 2, 3 3/4 of cutting surface on 4 inches of M390. The overall knife is 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, a little over 8.5 inches long. The blade to handle ratio on this thing is perfect. It has just the right amount of blade and just the right amount of handle. It looks very balanced. It feels very balanced in hand. The blade actually comes at a slight downward angle off the handle. So when you're pushing in for cuts, it has a remarkable bite. Because it is a Japanese style tanto, which is rounded up here at the tip just a little bit, it's marvelous for, you get a little bit of belly that you can use for draw cuts this way. Of course, you can get the tip square in. It has just enough edge here at the tip of the tanto line that you can draw cut with it at that point if you like. Blade is a nice thickness, and it's got this beautiful swedge cut into it. Fattens out nicely here to support a nice strong tip. It's got just a little bit of color on the pivot, some blue, which I think is super interesting because it's nowhere else on the knife. I thought that was a really nice touch. The titanium, the TC4 titanium, and I'm not sure if you guys are going to be able to catch this, is actually milled. There are small, very thin lines, which you can hear, but I'm not sure you'll be able to see, which means that when your hands get sweaty or warm, this thing still offers plenty of grip, and it is comfortable, really comfortable in hand, and fantastic for those late night gas station fights, if that's your jam. It's not mine, but it might be handy for you to know that. This is a great knife. Now, I got the understanding from a friend of mine who recently went to see if he could find one of these, that you're not going to be able to find one over on White Mountain Knives, although they do have other CH knives They have a spot for this, but I think they're sold out. You can still get these on AliExpress and DHgate. Now, I know some of you don't like to shop those sites, but it is the same knife. It'll be slow boat from China if you go that way, but you can get one. And they make this one, I think, not only in the silver, but also in black or some sort of darkened titanium. So if that's more your style, they're available. Look, CH Knives has an array, as I shared earlier in a video, of really beautiful and interesting knives at about half the price of equivalent knives and equivalent materials from other more well-known companies. When you're building a collection, as I still am, getting unique designs that don't break the bank is super important. I love my Chavez knives, for instance. My Chavez knives. But not everything can cost $275 to $375. If it did, I couldn't have it. I think these were about $90. You cannot go wrong with this knife at $90. You just can't. It's got a little bit of jimping here on the blade, which works very well to lock your thumb in. This is just a stellar EDC pocket knife. And again, the action is so good. It is fun to play with and good to use. I think that's about it. This has been the CH Knives 3507. I have been a Therapeutic Edge. You have been my kick-ass audience. Thank you so much for watching. If you haven't already, please like and subscribe. We'll see you next time.